Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Wix and back with another video. This time we're gonna talk about Firefox. I did a video, actually two videos about Chrome settings and Chrome tips and tricks. Today is time for Firefox. This is the browser I actually use myself. I like it because I never had problems with it and because it's more private, like a third party, let's say company Mozilla. Not in the game of spying on people and selling data like Microsoft or Chrome. So I chose this one. Yes, Firefox does get a lot of funding from Google, but as far as I know, I might be mistaken here. That's only because if Google doesn't give some money to Firefox to keep it alive, basically, and then Google will have some lawsuits for monopolizing the desktop browser market. That's what I've heard. I didn't look too much into it, but anyway, just know Google is pouring some money into Firefox, but so far it doesn't seem to influence anything. Like the Manifest v3 for extensions, it's not going to be in Firefox. Chrome will have it from July, I think, or anytime soon. So yeah, I suggest you use Firefox. If you ask me, use Firefox. Without further ado, let's start digging into the settings. I don't want to make this another 1 hour video because it's just settings, but yeah. So let's open Firefox. And this is oh, it just updated. That's why it took so long to launch. It does automatically update just like any other browser. Alright, let's close this. Let's go to settings. Of course, the three bars menu in the top right, and then go settings. That's how you open them. And this is a default installation of Firefox. I haven't changed anything yet. And let's start with the general tab right here, and let's go through them. Of course, you have a search box just like any other browser. You have a search bar for settings. You can go to settings by typing about preferences up top. Nothing special there. So first things first, add startup. If you remember from my Chrome video, you can set the browser to reopen the tabs that were open last time. When you close the browser and have some tabs open, if you check open previous windows and tabs, those will be reopened when you reopen the browser. I don't like to do that for myself because when I close Firefox, I'm done with that session or I'm done with those tabs. If I need them again, I'll reopen them manually. So I don't check this. Open Firefox automatically when your computer starts up, exactly what it says. It will start up when your computer boots if you want that. Import browser data. This is used if you change browsers. You can export your bookmarks, passwords, history and stuff from another browser and import them into Firefox so you don't lose your bookmarks. I don't know how well that works for passwords, to be honest. I haven't tested it because they might store passwords in a different format, but they might have a standardized format like XML or something to export from Chrome, for example, or a CSV format, and then it can import it here. Then we go into the tab section, control tabs, cycles through tabs in recently used order. If you don't know, when you press control tab, you will actually switch tabs up here. Let's just get multiple tabs. And now I'm pressing control tab. So it switched to this one, control tab again, control tab again. So that's basically like alt tab in Windows. That's what control tab does here. And that option over here affects the order in which control tab selects your tabs. And you can set it to be in the recently used order, not through all of them that you have up top. If you use that, I would use it. If not, I usually just click my tabs. I don't use keyboard to change tabs, so I don't use it. Open links in tabs instead of new windows. Again, what it says on the tin. When you click a link, it will just open a new tab, not a new Firefox window. But if you uncheck this, you can do that. When you open a link, image or media, a new tab, switch to it immediately. I don't like this, but you can do that. If you click this, when you're opening a new, when you click a link or right click and opening a new tab, you will automatically switch to that tab if you click this. Confirm before closing multiple tabs. Basically, if you have like 4 tabs open now and I close Firefox, it will pop up a dialog and it will ask, hey, are you sure you want to close all these tabs? and that's what it does if you check this. Show tab previews in the window taskbar. As it says on the tin, if you go to the taskbar and you have this, that style of taskbar that shows the full name down here instead of just icons, because you can see that. We'll show previews. Right now this is the preview of a window, not tabs, but if you check that thing, it will show the preview of individual tabs. I mean, let's try it, why not? Show tab previews. I hope it saves instantly. And let's see if I go here now. See, I have all the tabs as a preview. If you want this, check it. If you don't. I don't care about selecting individual tabs from the taskbar, so I'll turn that off. Language and preferences. Website appearance. You have automatic, which will follow your Windows settings, dark, light. You have light, even if Windows settings is dark, Firefox will force the size to be on light, and dark, the same thing, forced on dark. I keep it on automatic because I wanted to follow my system settings. Manage Firefox themes. This is where you can manage your extensions and themes for Firefox. Colors, override default colors for text, blah blah, exactly as it says here. You just click this and choose whatever colors. Unvisited links, visited links, text and background. This is of course by default. Use system colors, which is what I use because again, I like to follow my system colors. But of course, this has an add-on here. Override the color specified by the page with your selections above, only when using high contrast themes. I don't use this. This is mostly for visibility. So I don't use this. Don't use this theme, so it will not override the colors in pages with my selections above in this case. Fonts, default time. Oh, actually, this is a good time to change the font, because I do not like Times New Roman. It's an ugly font. Do I have Noto? No, I don't have Noto. Well, then I'll leave it because I don't know which one. Calibri. Anyway, this is where you change the default font of Firefox. Of course, it will be applied. It won't be applied everywhere because it depends. Some things will apply it. Some things, some fonts are specified by the extension, by the site. So your mileage may vary where this gets applied, but it should apply to menus and things like that. Default zoom. This is if you wanna open your pages already zoomed in, and you can zoom text only, not images and stuff. If you want that. Language. The language of Firefox, of course, you can change the language it shows things in. Preferred language for displaying pages, again, you can choose. I left it at default, don't really care. Check your spelling as you type, up to you. It does not send it to Firefox like Chrome does when it says check spelling or things like that. It does not send it to Firefox, it's just locally done. Set your language and site translation preferences. Well, one thing Firefox can do is translate pages locally. So even if you don't have internet, it can still offer to translate pages, and this is where you download the languages that you want to have locally installed, so you can translate from them to English. Okay, then you get into the download section. This is just like Chrome. You choose where to save files that you download by default. Again, it's in downloads, and you can also check this to specify that you want Firefox to ask you every time where to save the files, because maybe you don't want everything to go to downloads. Maybe you want to specify when you download something, you want to choose where to save it. Then you click this and it will ask you. And then Firefox also has some default type of files or different applications that open different types of files. Those you can manage here. So if you notice, there's some in the list by default. So WebP images, for example, it's set to open in Firefox by default. If you open a WebP image, it'll open in here. For SVG files, as you can see, it's set to save it automatically, which will mean download. For PDF files, it will open it in Firefox. You can click here and then choose what happens You can send it to the Windows default application. You can save the file automatically. You can always ask. So Firefox will ask you, hey, what do you want to do with this file? Save it, open it, things like that. Or use other, of course, choose other programs to open the specified file that you want. And these are here by default. Mail to, use mail default. You can probably set this to use Gmail. Yeah, there you go. So whenever you click a link on an email that says mail to on a page, it will open Gmail for you to do that. So basically this is where you manage the types of files and what to do to them when you click them in Firefox, which is a pretty cool thing because there's many files that, or add-ons for example, that you open by visiting a special link. I don't know, something.com or that an extension, and there's an application installed in Windows. I don't have any good examples now, but usually there's some special links that will get managed by applications installed on your computer. So when Firefox open that kind of link, you can specify in here, hey, when you open that link, just forward that file to this application, and it will open in the proper application. And for other files that are not in the list, you can choose to save them or ask whether to open or save. You can do that right here. Now, DRM, digital rights management content. I have this on, and I suggest you keep it on if you want to watch one example, Netflix in Firefox. You would need this because Netflix uses DRM, but this is an option in Firefox because the libraries that decode DRM, for example, Google Widevine is one. They have privacy implication, of course, and Firefox does not force you to play DRM content or install that decoder library in your system. It lets you choose, but if you uncheck this, you will not be able to watch DRM videos in Firefox like Netflix. So that's why I leave it on, even if, yeah, you maybe given up a bit of privacy, but if you really want to watch Netflix, yeah, you should keep this on. Then Firefox updates. One nice thing about Firefox, you have a button to check for updates right here. You don't have to do the trick where you go to, I showed it in my Chrome tips and tricks, where you go to help and then about Firefox, and this will check for updates right now. So you do force it to check, but it's nice that I don't have to because the button is right here. And then you can do show updates history. Firefox is nice like that. It shows you when the last update was done, and you can get into details for it, and it takes you to the page with what's new. Don't really care about that now. Let's close this. Then we move on into allow Firefox to. This is still related to the updates. And you can choose automatically install updates while Firefox is not running. You can uncheck this and you will automatically install updates while Firefox is running, but it shouldn't affect anything. It will just maybe restart the browser, but it will keep your sites open. But I have it set when it's not running, which means it will do the update in the background. It has a Windows background service. It's set, actually it doesn't have a service, it's set with a scheduled task. And Firefox in the background will periodically check for updates, and if it finds one, it will update Firefox for you. So next time when you open Firefox, it will be already up to date. I like to have it like that. It doesn't have much overhead, so why not? You can also check for updates, but let you choose when you install them. If you want this, do this. Basically, this will just check and say, hey, there's an update, and then you will choose when to do it. When to actually do the update. Use performance settings recommended. Yeah, this is related to the hardware acceleration. I would leave this on. It will use your GPU for decoding videos, things like that, and rendering UI and stuff like that. It will make Firefox faster. I would use that. Use auto scrolling. I actually don't know what this does. Don't care. Use smooth scrolling. I would check it. It might use a bit more resources. but it looks better. Show attached keyboard when necessary. This is if you're using, I don't know, on a tablet or a touch PC, it will show you a keyboard if you're trying to type things. Always use the cursor keys to navigate within pages. This, if enabled, as you can see, put a cursor there. And now you can go up, down. So basically, it's like you're trying to type in the page, but you can't. But you can press arrow keys and move through things with the cursor. I don't know what this is for. I don't use that. Always underline links. If a site is showing links, Firefox will force them to be underlined if you check this. I don't, because usually they're colored and they look nice without the underline, so I don't check this. Search for text when you start typing. Basically, I'm on this page. If I would start typing now and say enable, Firefox will start searching in this page for the word enable. I don't like that, so I don't enable it. Enable picture-in-picture videos controls. If you use picture-in-picture, you can have controls on that little tiny window that's the video. In the video, you can have controls there. Control media via keyboard headset or virtual interface. This is if you have media keys on your keyboard, for example, or play pause on your headset, you can tell Firefox to not react to those changes, for example, to those controls. So if when I press pause on my keyboard, the play pause media button, if this is unchecked, then Firefox will ignore it. So I keep it checked because, yeah, I want to pause videos with my keyboard, and you don't even have to be on the tab with the video, and you can pause it from anywhere by just pressing your media controls on your keyboard. So I keep that on. Recommend extension as you browse, recommend feature as you browse. I do keep this on just to stay up to date to whatever Firefox has, because it will not extensions. Yeah, there will be third-party extension that it might recommend to you. The features, it will be only Firefox features. I don't mind them, but you can turn them off if you don't want to see them. I have never seen them, although they are on. I have never seen them. I don't know where they recommend them, but I've never seen them. And this is the network settings. Basically, this is where you set up proxies. But I don't use a proxy, so use the system default proxy and we're done. My system does not have a proxy. But that's where you would set a proxy. And that's the general page. Let's go to home page. Now here you can choose what happens when you open your home page, a new window or a new tab. Your home page is the one that you access by pressing the home button. Right now the home button is not here because it's a default installation, and Firefox has removed that from the toolbar. But the nice thing about Firefox is that you can customize the toolbar. Chrome doesn't allow you to do that anymore. Edge does, but Chrome, no, they removed it, and it's annoying me. But anyway, in Firefox you can customize your toolbar. That will be in my tips and tricks video. But basically here you choose what you want to see in the new tab that you open, or a new window of Firefox, or when you go to your home page. And that can be home and new windows. I have it set to Firefox home, which is this screen, basically this, where you have some shortcuts, and you will remember your most visited sites, and you'll put them here. And this is a Google search box. So this is how I want my Firefox to open. It's clean, as you can see, no commercials, no news, no nothing. Or if you don't want that, you can set it to a custom URL, custom page that you want. Like, I don't know, you want when you open a new tab or a new this is mostly on page new window. When you open a new Firefox window, you want to open your email, you can set that here. Things like that. Custom pages, basically. And a blank page would be a blank page with no previously visited sites, no recent sites. And no, actually, it's not recent sites, it's most used sites. It's just a blank page. I like to have Firefox home, and for new tabs as well. This setting is for when you open Firefox, a new window of Firefox, and when you go to your home page. And this setting is for when you open a new tab. I like them both to be to Firefox Home, because usually what I do, I just click at the plus for a new tab and then click on the sites that I usually visit, and it's faster. Web search, choose what content you want on your Firefox home screen. This is where you configure that. You can turn off that Google search box, turn it off here. You can turn off the shortcuts. Sponsor shortcuts, I leave it checked. Maybe they make some money off of it, I don't know. Again, I have nothing against Mozilla, so I kind of want to help them where I can without them not being private, because I do like my privacy. I'm not going to let them spy on me, but I don't mind this, although I don't know which ones of those were sponsored. But even if they are, you can remove them. And this is where you set how many rows of shortcuts you wanted to keep. Recent activity, I have this unchecked because I don't want to see visited pages, bookmarks, most recent downloads, and pages saved to Pocket. Pocket is a different thing. I'll cover that in my tips and tricks video. But yeah, I don't want this to be on my home page, because it's like showing my history right there. What I did last time. Oh, look, have it there for all to see. So I don't want that to be shown in the home page, because it will remember it anyway, but it won't be on the home page. On the home page, I just want, you can remove the shortcuts. For example, let's say I want to get rid of Amazon. You do a dismiss. Then I want to get rid of Wikipedia. Dismiss that. Dismiss that. These I'm keeping because these sites I actually visit. But yeah, if you check those settings, the show activity, show recent activity, then you want to see here your recently visited sites, your bookmarks, your pages saved to Pocket, things like that. I don't want that. I want just a clean, nice new page. And that's the Firefox Home tab. And then we go into search. Just like any other browser, you can choose your default search engine, which will be the one that you search by going up here to the address bar. You can choose if you want to show search suggestions ahead of browsing history in address bar results. So whenever you type into the box to search, it will suggest things for you to search based on what you're typing. But what this checkbox does is to show you what it thinks you want to search for before it shows matching items from your history based on your search. And this is what I want. I want the history at the bottom. First things might be things that I can just press down arrow and enter to finish the search terms without having to type everything. And you can also show the search suggestion in private windows. This is an option because these search suggestions are not private. They are reading what you're typing and sending that to a server and giving you back suggestions. And that's why this is usually, by default off in private windows. So private windows are private. But you can turn this on in private windows as well if you want. When using the address bar suggest, this is what suggestions you get up top when you start typing for searching. This is what you get. You get suggestions from any of these. I left them on. Doesn't bother me. It's up to you what you keep on. And then the search shortcuts. You do have a default search engine up here. That's when you don't type anything in front. But if you type, for example, at Bing in the address bar up top, and then your search term, it will search using Bing, which is very useful because then I don't have to go up here and type cute cats. Let me make it bigger. Pressing the wrong keys. So basically, if I want to search cute cats using a different engine, I'll have to type cute cats and then go with my mouse and choose Bing from down here. But that will require me to put my hand on the mouse, drag the mouse down, which is too long, right? If I want to search cute cats using Bing directly, you just type at Bing space cute cats, and now it will search for cute cats using Bing. Easy. That's why the search shortcuts are very good. I use them all the time because sometimes I search on Google by default. For Google, for your default search engine, you don't have to type anything. You just type in the search term and it will go. So let's say cute cats. As you can see, it defaults to searching with Google. You see the icon here. And sometimes I search with Google and I can't really find what I need, and then I just go back at Bing, search with Bing, see if Bing finds it. And it does happen that Bing does find what I need and Google doesn't. Which is mind-blowing, because a while ago Bing was very bad. But now it's gotten better, especially with that AI in it. Okay, so that's if you mess up, of course, you can see there's multiple types of shortcuts here. You have search bookmarks by putting a little asterisk in front. You can search tabs, put a % sign in there. If you just want to search history, you just put this little hat. I don't know what this character is called, but this one, it's on your 6 on the keyboard, Shift 6 usually. So yeah, you can specify where you want to search easily without having to touch the mouse. And if you add some things or delete some things from here or break something, you can just click this button, will restore default search engines, and you will start over and you'll be fine. So there's no problem if you mess them up. And you also have this button which does search for more search engines, and you click it and then you'll see a bunch of other ways of searching. These are mostly extensions. Image search options, these are options for your image searching. Privacy essential from DuckDuckGo, search by image. They're extensions that you can install that affect or improve your search. I don't really use them, but yeah, well, this one might be interesting. Giphy is in everything right now, including Microsoft Teams and things like that. I don't know, if you want to have GIFs in your when you're, I don't know, posting a comment on a site that accepts GIFs, you can add this to your Firefox and post GIFs from there, but that's outside the scope of the video. And then we get to privacy and security. Browser privacy. This is a default installation, remember. Trackers follow you around online, blah blah blah. Firefox blocks many of these trackers and other malicious scripts. So Firefox does this by default. So you don't have to do much about tracking. But then you have other options. The standard one, of course, it blocks social media trackers, cross-site cookies. We talked about this in the Chrome video. Tracking content in private windows. Yep, the private window of Chrome is not really private, it still tracks you. Crypto miners, fingerprinters, blah blah. So everything is included in this standard protection that's on by default. If you want more, you can go to the strict. This is what I usually use. I use strict usually. And it blocks, it's more aggressive when it blocks things. It's kind of the same thing. So if we go back, crypto miners, fingerprint, cross-site cookies, and if I go here, social media, cross-site cookies, tracking content in all windows, crypto miners, known as suspected fingerprinters. Yeah, this adds a bit of more blocking on top of the standard one, in the sense that known and suspected fingerprinters, these are mostly popularity based, or people that reported these fingerprinters and they're not in the standard lists. So it's not really clear what it adds, but it's just more protection, blocks more things than the standard way. Standard way is a bit more lighter and it only blocks like harmless things like I don't know, social media trackers, crypto miners and fingerprinters. Sure, you do want to block these, but blocking these might will allow every site to work, because if they're blocked, they don't harm the page, but it will allow other things that will break the page to track you, if that makes sense. In strict mode, they will block even those that will break the page, just to make sure that it's private. And it actually tells you this setting may cause some websites to not display content or work correctly. Because in the standard mode, they block the ones they know it's safe to block. In strict mode, they block everything that's a fingerprinter or things like that, even if it breaks the site. I usually keep strict on. If there's something that doesn't work on a site, I'll just open it with standard, but I've never encountered a site being broken by using strict. Not on Firefox. I didn't encounter that on Brave browser, but on Firefox, strict was perfect. Didn't break any sites I used, so most of the time it should be fine. And then custom, you can choose, pick and choose what you want to block. I wouldn't do that because I want to put in the least amount of work that I can, so strict it is and move on. Tell website not to sell or share my data. Of course, click that. This is privacy related, but it's different from the Chrome one. Chrome only had this one, send websites a do not track request. I explained in the Chrome video what it does. I'll do it again here. This one basically tells sites, sends a do not track request to the sites, and the site can choose if they track you or they don't track you. So basically, this is not a guarantee you're not getting tracked, because the sites can choose to respect it or not respect it. It's not illegal for sites to track you even if this request is sent. So it doesn't really, I don't think it does much, but better to have it than not have it. And then there's another type of this is not a request, this is just a preference basically for sites that care about it. Again, it's up to the site to respect it, but Firefox tells them, hey, don't sell or share my data. It's a preference of mine, but sites can ignore it because again, it's not legally binding. Nobody cares legally about these two things, but some sites might be nice and respect them. Up to you, but I would keep them on. Cookies and site data, this is where you clear the data, manage data, and delete cookies and site data when Firefox is closed. Basically, if you check this, Firefox will act like a private window. When you close the entire Firefox, all the data disappears. So it basically logs you out of everything. History doesn't exist anymore, things like that. So, I mean, not history. Wait, manage exceptions. No, these are just exceptions. I don't think this applies to history. So history will still be there, but cookies and site data will be your logins. So if I check this and close Firefox, you'll be logged out of every site you visited, but the history will still be there. You'll just not be kept logged in. Ask to save passwords. Again, same discussion from the Chrome video. If you don't use a password manager, please use this one from Firefox. If you don't want to mess with third-party password managers, I use a third-party password manager. Again, I use Bitwarden. There's others. There's LastPass, there's Dashlane, and others. But if you don't want to mess with third-party extensions for saving passwords, and some of those extensions actually are paid, just use the Firefox one. And what this does is tell Firefox, hey, whenever I put in a password or something like that, ask to save it. So Firefox will ask you, hey, do you want to save this password for this site? And you say yes, no, blah, blah. And then it has the autofill again, just like every other browser, but you can choose to fill username and passwords automatically or not. If you uncheck this, it will not pre-fill your usernames and passwords, which is good and bad depending on your usage. Because if it does autofill, then anybody using your computer will have your username and password because it will pre-fill it. So up to you if you want to use this. Suggest strong passwords. This is when you're making accounts and you need a password. Firefox will offer to create a password for you. I would keep this on because this is very good. Suggest Firefox relay email mask to protect your email address. This is a service Firefox has. We'll talk about it a bit later. And this will suggest email masks when you're making new accounts and they ask you to put in an email. Firefox will offer an email mask instead of your actual email there. But I'll talk about the relay service later. Just know that it's some protection for your email address. But I would not use it unless you're using Firefox Relay. If you don't use Firefox Relay, then unclick this. Show alerts about password and breach sites. If you're using Firefox to save your passwords, then Firefox can check on the dark web and things like that for data dumps, for data breaches, can check if your passwords are in there, and it will let you know, hey, this password has been leaked from this site, so you might want to change it. I would keep this on. If you use Firefox Password Manager, I would keep this on because you would want to know. Requires device sign-in to fill and manage password. What this does is, let's take the case that I previously mentioned. Let's say other people are using your computer and you have fill username and passwords automatically set. It's checked. Then whenever they go to log into a site, Firefox doesn't care that you're not the one at the PC. It will pre-fill the password and username and let other people log into your accounts just because you have checked fill username and passwords. What this setting does require device sign-in. Whenever it wants to fill a username or password or save passwords, it will ask for the password of the computer you're using, your Windows password, for example. So if other people go to your PC and try to log in to the account, they will need to know the the Windows password, to be able to fill passwords or manage passwords from Firefox. I would check this if there's multiple people using your PC and you don't want to give them access to your passwords, then I would check this. If there's multiple people using your browser and you want them to have their separate password managers, then you make a different Firefox account or a different both actually. You make a profile and log in with a different Firefox account, and then both of you can have your saved passwords separately. Use a primary password. This is another layer of protection for your password management. So this will require the computer password. This, you can set a password that Firefox will ask for. So you set it manually. Let's say you want a different password than the computer one. You can check this one, set a master password, and then whenever you want to use your passwords, Firefox will ask for that master password, not for the computer password. Allow Windows single sign-on on Microsoft Work and School accounts. This is very useful if you're using a Microsoft Work account, for example, and you sign in with that account into Firefox. If you click this, Firefox will use that account to sign you into other Microsoft sites like Outlook or Azure or things like that. So if you're using a Microsoft Work or School account, I would check this, because then Firefox will auto sign you in throughout the Microsoft services that you visit in Firefox. And then we scroll down, remember history. Again, you can turn this off, never remember history. Basically turn the entire Firefox into a private window browser. It will never remember history. And if you do go up here and delete cookies and site data when Firefox is closed, it's acting basically like a private window all the time. So you don't have to open new private window. It will do that all the time. This is where you get to clear history if you want to. And then you have permissions. These are global permissions for sites. And you can set which sites have access to your location. By default, it will ask. But if you want to automatically give a site access to your location without asking, you can put the site in here. Block new request asking to access your location. If you do this, no site will be able to ask for your location permission. I would check that or not, because sometimes when I use Google Maps, I do want to give it permission to use location, but this mostly applies on a tablet or a laptop or something that actually has location, because otherwise it won't be very accurate. Yes, Windows will know, even if you're on a desktop, Windows will know your location based on your IP address, but it will not be pinpoint exact location. It would be general area. But yeah, this is where you get to set permissions for sites. You can block sites from asking for this permission. You can automatically give it to them by adding them in here. And by default, every site will ask for every permission it needs, and you can manage all of this in here. Block pop-up windows. Yeah, I always keep this checked. It doesn't break anything. Warn you when websites try to install add-ons. This is very good to check, to keep checked, because sometimes some sites try to install some extensions in the background and without asking, and Firefox will say, hey, this guy is trying to install this extension, do you want to allow it? So yeah, we keep that on. Firefox data collection in use. This is where Firefox collects some data about you. It's up to you if you keep them on. Again, if you want to help Mozilla make the browser better, sure, leave them on. I usually uncheck all of them. Allow Firefox to install and run studies. Not really, no thank you. Allow Firefox to send backlog crash reports on your behalf. I would keep this on, because if it crashes, you might help them fix the issue. This is technical data, interaction data. Up to you, as I said. It's not something personal. It's just anonymous usage data, like where you click, how you open your tabs, things like that, or performance indicator or something like that. Allow Firefox to make personalized extension recommendations. Again, you can uncheck this, you won't be bothered, but I usually keep all of these off except this one with the crash report. And then we go to security. Block dangerous and deceptive content. Yup. Block dangerous downloads. Yup. Warn you about unwanted and uncommon software. Yup. But there is a but in here. In order to do this, it might send some things to Firefox to check them. Again, it won't be personal data. It will be whatever it wants to check, but it might send some things to Firefox. So privacy concerns over security, up to you. I do keep them on. I don't mind if it checks. And then certificates. Basically, when you use an HTTPS site, that secure part of the HTTP is based on a certificate. Basically, the site says that, hey, I have this security certificate and it's valid because some company trusts me. And then the browser will also check into the Windows certificates and see, hey, does Windows trust this certificate? And if they do, you can proceed to the site and Firefox trusts that site. But some these certificates expire and they become invalid. What Firefox can do is query this is an organization that checks validity of certificates, is query this server every time it tries to load the certificate to see if it's still valid or not, because it might have been valid in the past, and if you don't do this check, you will trust the site, but maybe something happened and that site is not secure anymore and they invalidated its certificate. So I'll keep this on. This is a very good check to have. Allow Firefox to automatically use third-party root certificates you install. This is mostly for custom certificates. Basically, it's mostly related to if you're using, again, a work account. I do have, for example, when I work remotely, I do have a security given to me by my workplace that you install in Windows, and basically you tell Windows, hey, anything signed with this certificate you can trust. And if your workplace has sites signed with that custom certificate that it gave and you installed in Windows, if you check this, it will allow Firefox to automatically trust that certificate because you installed it in Windows and Windows trusts it, and you go to that site of your workplace signed with the same certificate. This will allow Firefox to trust that certificate implicitly without asking you, hey, do you trust this certificate every time? So if you do that, I would keep this on. I mean, even if you don't have custom certificates, just keep this on. It's less of a hassle to accept every certificate that's third party, because some applications might have their own third-party certificates. HTTPS only mode, we've talked about this in the Chrome settings video. By default it's don't. I would enable, you have the option to do it only in private windows. So basically it forces HTTPS only in private windows, but I do it everywhere. To explain again, it is in my Chrome video, but to explain it again, HTTPS is secure HTTP, which means any data sent between you and the site is encrypted. Some sites support both non-secure HTTP and secure HTTP. And if you go and type HTTP site, then we'll go into unsecure mode. But if you check this, Firefox will automatically force it to go to the secure mode. So it'll overwrite your HTTP to be HTTPS. Some sites might not support HTTPS, but in that case, I would suggest not visiting that site. It's not worth it. Nowadays, everybody has HTTPS. And then we move over to DNS over HTTPS. What this does, I've explained, I'm gonna keep saying this. I explained this in my Chrome video, but I'll do it again. Basically, when you want to go to google.com, what happens is a DNS request goes to the DNS server that you have configured, probably your ISP one. We'll talk about this in a minute. But yeah, a DNS request will go and say, hey, I want to visit google.com. What is the IP for it? Then that server will give you back the IP, and then the browser will go and connect to that IP to give you the site. What this does, the DNS over HTTPS, is encrypt that request, because if it's not encrypted, anybody sniffing on your network will see that you want to visit google.com, because it's going to be in clear text and you can see whatever site they ask for the IP for. If you enable this DNS over HTTPS, then that first request of DNS will be encrypted, so they will see that you want to visit a site, but they won't see which site you want to visit, so it's more private. And by default, Firefox tries to figure it out where it can do secure, where it cannot do secure. As you can see, use secure DNS in regions where it's available. Use your default DNS resolver if there's a problem with secure DNS. Use a local provider if possible. So you'll turn off when VPN, blah blah. So it's gonna try and figure it for you, which is good enough. But for example, in my region, I guess it's not available because status is off, but you can turn it on. So you go down here and say increase protection. Increase protection. You control when to use secure DNS and choose your provider. Use the provider you select. Only use your default DNS resolver if there's a problem with the secure one. And I usually use Cloudflare by default, but I usually use max protection to make sure it's always doing this. And if the secure DNS is not available, sites will not load or function properly. So rather than going back to the unencrypted one, if you cannot go to do an encrypted DNS request, I would rather not load the site. This is my case. For most people, increased protection is enough. Choose your default provider here. Cloudflare, I usually set Cloudflare. From what I've seen, they only log what site was requested, not who did it. So I kind of trust them. Up to you. You can use NextDNS, of course. You can add custom ones. You can search on Google and add them over here. But I just use Cloudflare. Keep it on increased protection. Max protection might break some sites depending on your usage. And for me, at home, I do use max, but most people should be fine with increased. And off is use your default DNS resolver, basically your ISP, and that would mean your ISP sees every site you try to visit. It doesn't see what data you send between you and the site, but it sees what site you want to visit. Now, what the ISP does with that data depends on the ISP, but they shouldn't have it anyway. I mean, I won't get into privacy things. I'll just leave it there. And then we go to sync. And in here, I don't have a Firefox account on this browser because this is a virtual machine and it's the default installation. But in here, you can make a Firefox account and it will do the syncing of bookmarks, history, password, just like Chrome does, just like any other browser. The only difference is that in Firefox, you can log in with a Firefox account. You don't have a Google account that will spy on you or things like that. You make a Firefox account, of course, your bookmarks and everything else will get sent to Firefox. I'm not sure if they encrypt it and hold it encrypted, or yeah, they do actually. They will hold it encrypted. But yeah, if you want to sync between multiple browsers on your phone and on your PC, or multiple PCs, you can click on this, make a Firefox account, and log into the browser with that account, and then it will start syncing things. And you still can choose what to sync, just like in Chrome, but it will show up here. After you log in with your account, you will see a manage what you sync, just like in Chrome. It's pretty straightforward after that. And then there's more from Mozilla. Basically what they do is show you more of their products. As I said earlier about Firefox Relay, this is where you get that and start using it. And what they have is Mozilla Monitor, alerts you when there's been your data is in a data breach. VPN, they have a VPN. Now these are not free, not all of them at least. Firefox has their own VPN. If you want to use a VPN and don't want to pay too much on a different one, you can use theirs. And Firefox Relay, which is basically a email relay. Instead of you giving your own email address to a site, for example, you can use an email address from this Firefox Relay, and all the emails that will come to you will go through this relay, and they remove some tracking from the emails, or some dangerous links or some dangerous emails, and basically block them before they get to your inbox, or change the actual emails to remove the tracking from them and you still receive the email. It's basically so you're safer in your emails if you want to do that. And let's just visit the relay for a second and see. Yeah, there's $1 a month, or you can get the free, but for free you only get 5 email masks. You can check this for yourself. But this is one other way the Firefox makes money, by providing these services to you. Instead of just stealing and selling your data, you have actual services that you can give them money for and use for yourself. And I think that is about it about the settings. Yeah, down here, if you want to see extension and themes, you can click here, and then you can search and install extensions, whatever. But that is all about the Firefox settings video. As you can see, Firefox is pretty straightforward. It doesn't have as many settings as Chrome, because it doesn't have much bloatware that you need to tweak and turn, and it's just a straight up browser, fully featured of course, but it doesn't have any extra things you don't need. And of course, as you saw, there's a lot of more privacy settings, like checking those security certificates, privacy and security settings. My video of Firefox tips and tricks will come next week. There are some cool things in Firefox, like this button up here that does show you recent tabs, and you can reopen them on a different device. For next time, I will make a Firefox account and show you how that interacts with this. But yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. Firefox tips and tricks next weekend. Until then, hope you learned something from the settings overview, and why not give Firefox a try? It works with everything, there is no problem. But until then, I'll catch you in the next one. Ta-da!